From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show, including all of our terrestrial affiliates across North America and digitally on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio for the show, and my personal handle at Dave Scott SOR. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, which is updated daily. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. When it comes to hauntings, very few have experienced what our guest tonight has had in her own home. The Hanover Haunting, the DeAnna Simpson story, is one of true paranormal extremes. Author Joni Mayhan and DeAnna Simpson are here to share this story of this horrific account of terror from those on the other side. As DeAnna literally discovered her dream home was filled with unspeakable evil. Once the house locked her in its tight grips, it just wouldn't let go. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. Joni Mayhan, we're going to start with you because you're familiar around these parts. How you been doing, my friend?
I have been doing great, thank you. Keeping busy.
You know, the last time we had you on, we were talking about these awesome stories that you put together from truck drivers, long-haul truck drivers, who had strange and weird encounters while they're on the road. And now you're dealing with someone who has this horrific haunting in their own house. You know, when you do that type of difference in stories, is it all just the paranormal, or do you have to change your own game with it?
Well, I have never written about long-haul truckers, so maybe I'll start, though. That's a great idea.
I thought you did.
Most of my...
I apologize about that.
No, that's okay, but that's a great idea. I'll have to write that down. My books come from other people's experiences, my experiences, things that I've heard about and decided to dig deeper into. I've just been very interested in the paranormal all my life because I'm sensitive. So I've been having experiences since I was a child. So that's kind of got my interest up. So I decided to combine my two loves of writing and the paranormal into one career. So there you go.
Wonderful. You're a very talented writer as well. And I got to ask you, how did you get to know DeAnna Simpson's story?
Well, it's hard not to know that story because it was all over the place. There was a Fox News segment where the news reporter actually got attacked while they were filming, and that went viral around the country, around the world, actually. And I also saw it on the Dead Files, so I was aware of it for a long time. And then DeAnna decided that she wanted to have a book written about it. And she originally was going to have Rosemary Ellen Guiley write it, and they were working on it. And then Rosemary started getting sick, and the book kind of fell away. So when their contract ended, DeAnna found me through a mutual friend. And, here we are. The minute she contacted me, she called me. And I knew who she was, and I knew her story. And I was like, yes. I didn't have to think about it. I'm like, of course I want to write your book. So that was our start.
By the way, we talked shadow people and paranormal last time. I apologize about that.
Yes, we did. That's
now
okay.
I remember.
I just didn't want everybody to go searching for my long-haul trucker stories and go,
no,
wait a minute, what the hell?
Well, hey, I just gave you a great topic to write about next time.
Absolutely. I'm on it.
There you go. Well, we look forward to it. And DeAnna, I want to introduce you to our audience here because you are somebody who has lived this experience. And what did you believe in the paranormal before you had the house from hell?
What I believed in the paranormal was going to see The Exorcist, going to see a scary movie, sitting around a campfire, telling tales. I thought it was entertainment. I live here in Pennsylvania, and I enjoy going to Gettysburg. I enjoy doing ghost tours. I was always fascinated by it. Growing up as a little girl, I know that I had to been sensitive to things because my mother was very, very intuitive, and so was my grandma. So it was in the family, but it was something that if I went to go talk to my mom about a strange encounter or an experience, she would just be like, "Shh, we don't talk about that. You know, you're going to church. Going to church." So, yeah, so strong Southern Baptist, we just, we didn't do that. Even though it was there, it wasn't acknowledged,
No, I totally hear what you're saying. As someone who has worked in a haunted building and lived in a haunted house, nothing too extreme, but, it's a little rattling for someone who has never experienced that before. So when you started, finding out what was going on, what happened? You buy this beautiful house. It's apparently your dream house. Take me through that story from the time you went and looked at it the first time.
The very first time we looked at it, Tom told me not to get too excited about the home because he didn't want to live in town. He wanted something out in the country. But as soon as I walked into this house, I immediately fell in love with it because it reminded me of a childhood home that I grew up with my mom and dad and my brother back home in Louisville, Kentucky. And I just had to have it. The smells, the flooring, the everything about this little quaint, little adorable home, I just had to have. And it got to the point where after we did our walkthrough, I said, "Tom, please, please." We even looked at other homes. We put on, we even put a bid on another home, but the bid fell through. I just kept writing back to the house, asking to, relook at the home. And I finally convinced Tom, "Please, we don't have to stay here forever. Just please, let's buy this now. Please, we can make it our forever home." And, but I started taking pictures, Dave, of the home and sending them back to my mom and dad. But as soon as Tom and I got back to the apartment, when I was looking at these pictures, I should have been tipped off, but I wasn't knowledgeable about it. Like I was seeing like these big balls of light in the picture or a big beam, like a white shadow type like thing coming from the floor, into the wall. And I would show that to Tom and I'd say, "Ooh, this is weird. I've never seen anything like this. What do you make of this?" And he would just say, "Well, honey, there's no curtains in the windows. It's light reflection." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that must be it." So, I mean, it started as soon as I started to get in, when I entered that home. It was just an immediate, like I was drawn to it. I was obsessed with it. And started showing itself in some of the pictures that I took that I could show my mom and dad.
No way. And Joni, when you started learning about DeAnna's story, and we're going to get more into her involvement with everything here, what caught you off guard from the beginnings when she started telling you about how this house was so attractive to her?
Well, I knew that the house probably called to her because I actually got to go to the house before we started the book. So I was on my way home from a Paracon in Massachusetts, and I live in southern Indiana. So Hanover, Pennsylvania was a good enough halfway point to stop for the night. And I had full plans of spending the night at DeAnna's house. And as a sensitive, I'm able to feel and hear and get a really good grasp on what's haunting the house. And the minute I walked into her house, it was like walking into a cyclone of evil. They were all over me. It was awful. It was the most extreme haunting I had ever felt personally. And I've been on more than 300 investigations. I've had attachments. I've had some really severe hauntings myself, and this just blew them all away. I couldn't stay inside more than 10 minutes. I had to keep going outside to the porch just to recoup my energy and ground myself, because I'd get outside and I'd say, oh my God, how do you live here? How can you handle this? Because it was just awful for me for just a few minutes. So when we got to the point where she was telling me her stories, she didn't have to convince me, because I had already been there. I'd already experienced it for myself, and I knew what she was dealing with. And one of the first conversations I had with her was, yes, I'll write your book, but my primary goal is to make sure that we get you out of the situation. So that was what I began working on, and that kind of set things into motion for the ending of the book, which we're not going to tell too much about because we do want people to read the book. But it was just an interesting scenario from the minute I got involved.
So, Joni, when you hear that, DeAnna knew absolutely nothing about the paranormal coming into this until this experience, and, outside of what she saw in fictional movies, when you have somebody who is that virgin to this topic, how do you take that a little differently from, say, someone who's experienced a lot of phenomena?
Well, I mean, she was there for 11 years, and she dealt with a lot of different paranormal teams and psychic mediums and whatnot. So she was pretty well versed by the time I met her. But a lot of what she went through at the time, she didn't understand what was going on, and seeing and experiencing things that would drive most people literally insane. If they saw even one of these things or had one of these things happen to them, they would have been out of that house or crazy at that point, because, I mean, it takes a real strong person to be able to endure what this woman endured for that period of time.
Interesting. DeAnna, I want to bring you back in here for a second. As you start to move in, you purchase the house and everything is getting ready to that moving day. Did anything strange or weird happen?
Sure. When we looked at the house initially, and everything that I had loved about it, and the smells and the feelings and the remembrance of a childhood home. Now, my husband's a pharmacist, and he works a lot of hours. He works a lot of late hours, so he doesn't get home till nighttime, till about 9:30. But what I noticed that what had happened immediately was, I'd moved a lot as I was a child. So moving, I was pretty well adaptable to, It wasn't so much of a stressor to me. Tom and I were really looking forward to moving into this home because it was a beginning of our life, We wanted to get married. He had his children. I had my children. We envisioned our families coming together, and, we just wanted that kind of life for us. But as soon as we moved in, I would kiss Tom goodbye to go to work. I noticed that the atmosphere had changed. There was, instead of that elated feeling, it was almost oppressing. It just felt thick. Like all of a sudden, this house that I loved, that I had all these envisionments of where I was going to put my furniture, my pictures, my this and that. I became doubtful, like if it was the right thing to do. Whenever I was there, and I would be uncovering boxes, taking another box from the basement, I always felt like I wasn't alone. Like somebody was there with me. I felt on edge. Like I always wanted to look over my shoulder, like as if something was there.
And,
if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it totally makes sense, and I think we can bring that down a little bit, because for a lot of people who have experienced the strange and weird, we all know that feeling. We know that anxiety of feeling like we're not alone in our own home. And, as you started to have those feelings, what did you think was going on?
Well, at first I just kept saying, just calm down, DeAnna. It's new. You have to claim it. You have to make it your home. You're in a different surrounding. But then, when we moved into this home, I also brought in a calico cat that I have had for 14 years. And I even noticed my animal, my little kitty, she was even acting strange. And I thought, oh, okay, well, that's normal too. You took a cat out of one situation for 14 years, throw her into something new. Well, of course she's going to act timid or run under the couch, not come back out for a while, meowing a lot, crying a lot. And I thought, well, okay, it's just not me. I'm going to have to get used to it when I go to bed, and I would just pull up the covers, and instead of feeling like, oh, gosh, this is wonderful, I'd be like, oh, I can't sleep. I don't know where I am. Like, just all of these uncertainties.
Joni, is that normal for a lot of experiencers to have that situation happen?
Yeah, I think usually the way a haunting usually presents itself to someone is that they feel watched. They feel like somebody's standing behind them, staring at them. And for DeAnna, that was definitely her first situation. But, she had a husband who was very much a skeptic and wanted to keep her protected and safe, and he didn't want her to be freaked out about something. And he didn't believe in ghosts to begin with. So, so she was talked down off the ledge a number of times, which kind of kept her a little bit calmer and made her really question what was going on, if she was just imagining it, or if there was really actually something going on. And as it escalated, there became no doubt, but there was a long period of time where she questioned herself, and I think that that's completely normal. A lot of hauntings, they will pick one person, in a family unit, and present themselves to that one person, but not to the other, to the spouse. And it drives a wedge between them. And I know I had that personally happen to me in a haunted house that I lived in. Everything was happening to me, but not to my husband. And it causes marital strife. And they love that because they're really making things chaotic and negative, and they feed off of that energy.
So when you first met and talked with DeAnna here, and you saw the aftermath, obviously, when you heard the story and combined what you saw with the aftermath, what did you think of this poor person who's never experienced anything before having to go through this? And we got 4 minutes left, ladies, before we go to break at the bottom of the hour.
Oh, I felt so bad for DeAnna. You can kind of tell from talking to her that she is one of the sweetest people you'll ever meet, and that's genuine. She would do anything for anybody, and somehow maintain that through the haunting. And I just felt really, really bad. On the other side, I really admired how strong she was to go through this and not come out the other side a mental mess.
DeAnna, with your husband not believing in any of this stuff, when the experiences first started happening, when you felt like you weren't alone when you first moved in and your husband was at work, what was he doing? What was his reaction?
Well, he just tried to justify it. Tom is being a pharmacist, he's very practical. And he'd just be like, well, it's a new home. It's a new home, Dee. You just have to get used to it. Once you get all your belongings in order, and get your pictures hung and paint the walls and do what, make it your home. He says, it's just new. That's all it is, and he'd be all huggy and lovey and kissy and he'd be just adorable and just be like, here, let's just get a pizza. Come on, let's pop off a beer. You'll be fine. It's just new, honey. It's just new. And I'd be like, yeah, you're right there. It's just new. That's all. That's all. And his comfort to me at that time, would help me to get more grounded.
Did it cause any arguments, rifts between you two?
Oh my gosh. It sure did. Down as the haunting escalated, it finally got to the point where I just broke down and cried and cried and cried, and I just said, honey, I love you. I love you to the ends of the earth, and I never want a divorce, but you can stay here. I'm going to get an apartment, and we can live our lives, but I'm not staying in this home. Or, I'm going to leave. I can't take it anymore. Yep, I was going to leave. Couldn't do it.
Emotionally, and when we come back from the break, I want to hit you up on your first experience that you had at this place. But emotionally speaking, what toll has this home taken on you?
Immense. I was talking to Johnny Zaffis. We're good friends. He's been out to the house several times, and his team has investigated the home. And I said, Johnny, this house, I said, has got a hold on me. And he said, it's like PTSD. I had post-traumatic stress. Everything made me jump. Everything made me cry. Thought I was losing my mind. Things that I was seeing, hearing, it was not rational at all how I was brought up and what I believed in. And the last year that I lived there, I told my husband I had to go to counseling and that he was welcome to come with me because I just couldn't take it anymore. I thought I was losing my mind.
Oh, you poor thing. Ladies, you guys hold on right there because we are going to go to break at the bottom of the hour. Author Joni Mayhan is here tonight, along with DeAnna Simpson, and the new book is The Hanover Haunting, the DeAnna Simpson story. Now, this is going to get a little eerie and creepy as we continue on here because we're going to get details from DeAnna about what was going on as her dream house turned into a nightmare on Spaced Out Radio.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know little brother is watching.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
Need that weekend supernatural fix? Look no further than Spaced Out Saturday right here at spacedoutradio.com. I'm Stacey Edwards.
And I'm John Edwards. Each Saturday night, Stacey and I are going to bring you the best in paranormal, cryptids, UFOs, you name it, and we're going there.
It's all about the experience and to share the knowledge with all of you.
So tune us in every Saturday night on Spaced Out Saturdays, starting at 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com.
We're taking Sunday nights out of this world on Spaced Out Radio. This is Michael W. Hall, also known as the Paranormal Lawyer. Together, we're going to go on an exciting journey into the unknown. I'm going to bring you some of the best interviews in the paranormal and supernatural to start your new week off on a freaky note. So tune in to Spaced Out Sundays with me, Michael W. Hall, only on spacedoutradio.com.
Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us. Really do appreciate you spending your valuable time with us. Want to give a shout out to everybody who wants to know where our archives is. You can find them at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. We have them free for you. The only thing I ask for in return is to hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We got a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter if you haven't already, at Spaced Out Radio for the show, at Dave Scott SOR for my personal handle. Tonight we are talking about the amazing haunted story of DeAnna Simpson. She and author Joni Mayhan are here for the Hanover Haunting, the DeAnna Simpson story. Ladies, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Very, very welcome. Now, DeAnna, I want to start with you in this half hour, okay, if you don't mind. What was the first paranormal experience you recalled in this house?
First paranormal experience that I recall is after we very first moved in, the haunting started immediately. As soon as Tom and I would go to bed at night, I started having this dream. And I was seeing two men in my dream. And the dream was so vivid. The one man was tall and slender. He had those black military glasses. He had a side part and a comb over. He had the white starchy shirt, and he was slender with a prominent jawline. The other man was shorter in status, more like a worker, a truck driver. He was bald. He had suspenders. He had a dirty, greasy T-shirt on, and he was chewing on the end of a cigar bud. And I remember looking at these men in my dream, and it would just stop. And at first I thought, okay, it was just a dream. But the next night it would happen, and it was starting to happen like at least 3 times a week, 4 times a week. And I was telling my husband, I said, I am having the weirdest dream. And I explained to my husband what I was dreaming. And he just said, look, you're just under a lot of stress. We just bought a new home. We each started a new job, and we're trying to merge our children into a family. And we just got a lot going on. And I was like, okay, that must be it. And then one night I go to bed and I'm having trouble and I'm restless and I don't want to go to sleep because I don't want this reoccurring dream. I just don't want to go to sleep. And Tom's like, why can't you sleep? And I explained it to him, and he says, oh, well, why don't you, and this is when the little snarly comes out of Tom, and he goes, oh, well, if they show up again in your dream, why don't you just ask them what they want? And I was like, is that a little sarcasm there? And he's just like, we got to get to bed. So I went to bed. I started feeling my hair being stroked. And that was weird. And instinctively, I was just like, oh, Tom, you know. And I roll over, and I see that Tom's asleep, so I close my eyes. I go back to sleep, and here's the men. And then I said, what do you want? Why are you here? What do you want? And as soon as I woke up from my dream, and they were no longer in my dream, they were standing right on the side of the edge of the bed, and they were just both looking at me. I started tapping Tom, and I had asked them, remember, I said, what did you want? What do you want? And as soon as I opened my eyes and they were standing there on the side of the bed, they just looked at me, and their eyes just went from black to glowing, and so was their mouth, and they were just like, get out! And they just shouted at me to get out.
Oh, that just sent chills down my spine. Oh, that's terrible.
Yes, that was my first encounter.
Tell them who the men were.
Oh, my gosh. And then, well, what had happened is I told Tom about it, and I started doing my own research. I just instinctively started asking the older women. And so I started knocking on the doors like, hi, I'm DeAnna Simpson, and I'm your new neighbor. I live here at 300, da-da-da-da-da. And this one woman, Linda, was really forthcoming. And I said, do you remember the people that lived there? And she was like, yeah. And, well, I will not say their names out of respect to the families that are still, living in Hanover. And I was like, well, do you happen to have any pictures of them? She was like, oh, yeah, we were really close friends with the one, and, we had cookouts, da-da-da. She goes, well, hold on. Yeah, I can show you Mr. and Mrs., and I can show you the picture. And I said, well, that would be great. So she came out, and she showed me a picture at, surrounding a picnic table, with the red cloth, checkered cloth. And she just looked at me, and I said, oh, Linda, wait a minute. Is this one of the men? This is one of the men. And there he stood in the picture next to his wife, the tall one with the comb over, with the military black glasses, prominent jawline. I said, that man lived here. I said, that's the one. And then I stopped myself because I didn't want to explain to her what was going on with me, because I didn't want her to think I was a freaking Fruit Loop. And I said, this man right here. And then she goes, well, that's weird, because that's Clayton, blah, blah, blah. He was the first owner of your house, and that's Lynn. He was the second. He was the second owner of your home. She says, well, you already knew who they were. Why are you asking me if you knew them? Well, how could you have known them? And I was just like, well, Linda, I'm just trying to find out the history. That's all of this house. So I picked out the men, and I saw them in the picture that she validated, that the two previous owners. Those were the ones that was coming in my dream that told me to get out.
That is unbelievable. So you mentioned that you guys, I'm going to assume, just by the way you worded it, you're a blended family.
Yes.
How are the kids reacting to this paranormal activity?
Shortly after moving into the home, I had one daughter, Amber. That was my first one, my first child. And I have three daughters, and she moved in with us for a while. It affected her deeply. We had a lot of occurrences together, and she didn't stay long. She had to move out. She couldn't take it, and she moved out with one of her sisters, and they got an apartment together. It was very distraughting because at first I kept it away from him, Dave, and then I started sharing with my children, and they just kind of looked at me, but it didn't take long for them to have occurrences as well. And
did you feel helpless?
Staying there.
As a mom, did you feel helpless?
Very, because my daughter who lived with me, who I enjoyed having her back in while she was going to college and working part-time. It was awful because of the occurrences that we had. One of the stories, for example, is Tom and I went to Kentucky. And there's this one room that Tom made into a den. And he had a big elk head on the wall, okay? And this elk head, we told Amber, all right, the store stays locked. Tom's got some guns in there. You're 22 years old. Just behave, enjoy, but be careful. And I get a phone call. It's 3 a.m. from my daughter, and she's frantic. And she says, Mom, she was sitting there with a knife in her hand in the bedroom because she heard the loudest bang in the house. It sounded like a shotgun. And she says, Mom, somebody's broke in. Mom, somebody's broke in. And I said, oh, my God, Amber, just get out. Just get out. She says, well, I went to the kitchen, got a knife, started looking around. I said, no, call the police. And she says, oh, Mom, but I'm just so afraid. And she was petrified. And she said, I know it came from Tom's room. And I said, Amber, get out of the house. And she goes, but Mom, I said, the door is locked, Amber. Just get out of the house. Somebody could have broke a window. Well, as she was talking to me, she said she had a knife in her hand. She walked over to the office or the den that the door was locked. She opened up the door, and the elk head had came off the wall. And when she had opened the door, the elk head was probably about 1.5 feet away from the wall and just laying there. And it was facing her as she opened up the door.
Oh, my goodness.
And she just started screaming. And I said, Amber, just get out of the house. Mom and Dad Tom and I will be coming home tomorrow. So that was one occurrence. She went over to her sister's home. She called her sister up. And that was Lindsay. And she's, explained the situation. And she went over there for the evening, and we made an early trip back home. And now Tom, being Tom, very practical, just said, can't believe this elk head fell off, because his brother mounted the elk head, and it had a double snap in the back where you had to click it, and then you had to click it again. There's just no way that this should happen. But Tom, he was just like, well, maybe a truck drove by. And I'm like, oh, my God, at 3 in the freaking o'clock in the morning, a tractor trailer drove by in a residential area. He goes, Deanna, something, nope. Okay, well, then Amber had a party. That was it. Amber had to have had a party. And I'm like, what? The boys' kids went in the room and took off the elk head? Now, Tom, nothing was being practical about this. And there was no explanation. But, Dave, it did happen again. Tom and I argued about this. He thought my daughter had a party, and that was the end of it. I can understand his point. It was very confusing how it took 3 men to lift this elk head. It was like a 12-point.
Oh, big guy.
It was big guy. And it took 3 men to hold him up, to pull him up, and to latch him on the wall. Right. And anyways, the wall was fine. Dave, the wall was fine. No plaster came off. The mount was still there. It was fine. So Tom, he accused Amber of having a party. That didn't go well.
Yeah,
shortly after that.
Especially when a step-parent makes that type of accusation, That doesn't bode well for the relationship that is already strained for the most part.
Correct. Yes. And that, everything you just said made my daughter feel uncomfortable. I had to approach Amber and go, Amber, tell Mommy, did you have a party? Was there some kids in here? No, Mom. No. Told you. No. I was reading a book, Mom. I was all by myself. Of course not. So I believed my daughter. About a month later, Tom and I were eating dinner, and I said, oh, let's go away for the weekend. Tom, please, come on, just take me away for a weekend. Let's go to Lancaster. Let's go have some fun. Let's just get a hotel. Let's have a nice dinner. Let's go antique shopping. And he was like, well, that's fine and all, but I want Amber to go stay with her sister at the apartment while we're gone. And I'm like, what? No. He says, she's not, she's going to have another party in that Elkhead and da-da. And so we start arguing at the table about, I'm just like, you're not going to let this go. Well, then as we were arguing, I said, Tom, it wasn't Amber. I told you that the house is haunted. I believe in my heart that there is an entity. There's something here, and I can't explain it. And so he starts laughing, and he's like, oh, Dee, you think we have a ghost now? Oh, my God, so it's the ghost that... And as soon as he starts laughing, and he's he's making fun of me, we hear this loud bang, like a gunshot. I mean, we both just, our hands just jumped up off the table. And I said, oh, my God, what the, and he was like, what the fuck is that? And
yes. The profanity came out.
Oh, man, it was flying. And I said, Tom, it came from your office. And we both got up from the kitchen table. We went to the office. He opened up the door, and the elk head was lying in the exact same position that it had been for Amber. When we came home, there it was. And I was just like elated. I was just like, finally, yes, thank you, God. How do you explain this? That wasn't a tractor trailer. What did, and now we're arguing. We're arguing about,
Oh, yeah, it's on now. I could feel that about you. It is on. You dropped the gloves like a good old hockey player, and you got it on.
Yep, and I'm like, you owe Amber an apology, and this is bullshit, and blah, blah, blah. And you explain that, Simpson. You tell me how that happened. I said, How did that just happen? Not one of the antlers broke off. Its face is fine. Its nose is fine. All of the points are fine. Explain it. And then, that didn't go well either. So.
No, because his own scientific credibility is on the line. Because, the fact is, he works in the medical field. He's got a science background, and that doesn't fit the parameters of what he's supposed to know and supposed to believe. Joni, as we got about 4.5 minutes to bring you in here, when you're hearing this family type of argument that is going on, as they try and figure out from one skeptic to one believer, is this natural occurrences in families when it goes this way?
Oh, yeah, it happens that way a lot of times. Like I said before, they will pick out one person to show themselves and experience things and try to drive a wedge between the two people. And it's very common, especially somebody that's, Deanna's a believer and also sensitive. She was able to really kind of start to feel them after a while. And, Tom's never had an experience, up until that point. So it made no sense to him. He was a protector. He wanted to keep Deanna safe, and he didn't like seeing her upset. So he would try to find explanations for it. Towards, as it carried on a little bit, though, really, there was a lot of animosity between them because I think he really started thinking she was losing her mind. It was out of his wheelhouse that he would ever consider that there was such thing as a ghost. And here she was having these extreme paranormal experiences that nobody believed her about. So it'd be hard to live through.
DeAnna, before we go further, because we're going to get deeper into this story in the next half hour, but I want to ask you, when was the first time you had somebody tell you, I believe you? And what did that mean to you?
Oh. You mean like, Dave, or you mean like from Tom?
From Tom or other people that you were surrounding yourself with?
Well, I tell you, my children, it took until the end when Tom and when we saw something together. What had happened is we were in the family room, and Tom was sitting in the rocking chair, I was sitting on the couch. And what had happened is the cat started growling, and just Ramsey was on his side, and he was making this loud noise. And then Tom kind of peripherally caught this black shadow mist, and I saw it too. It was seeping out from underneath the basement door like we thought we saw this black mist. And then Ramsey, he tore off. And then Tom and we went into the kitchen because we both got up. I was like, do you see that, Tom? And it was as black as black. And then when we got up on it, we didn't see anything. So we both walked into the kitchen. And as we were standing in this kitchen, once again, this big black mass just came out from underneath the basement door. And it was, Dave, it's so hard to explain because it was just, I can't describe the blackness of this mist. And as this mist was coming out from underneath the basement door, it was coiling like a snake. And as it was coiling, it was getting momentum, like as if it was like a rope, like a cowboy's rope. As you would swing it, it was going faster and faster and faster. It shot straight up. This thing, it looked like an eel. It started flapping, and it was gaining more strength, and you could hear it like boom, 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 and it just started spinning like a tornado.
Oh, wow.
And it shot straight up right in front of us. It just shot straight up into the ceiling of the kitchen and left a black mark. It shot straight up. And as we watched this thing go up through the ceiling, I was clinging on to him. I was in desperation. And
DeAnna, I'm going to get you to hold on right there. DeAnna Simpson, Joni Mayhan, the Hanover Haunting continues in Hour 2 of Spaced Out Radio right after this.
Hi, this is Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales, where I will get into some of the spookier legends and folklore from around the world and tell the stories that go with them. Find us at youtube.com/spacedoutradio and check out Cryptid Tales today. Drop a comment and let me know what you want to hear. See you there.
Hi there, this is the paranormal lawyer Michael W. Hall. I'd like to invite you to listen in each Sunday night where we're going to open up your eyes to everything strange and paranormal. I will be hosting some great guests with topics that affect us all, such as UFOs, ghosts, and everything paranormal. Let's learn together on Spaced Out Radio Sunday with myself, Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer at spacedoutradio.com.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
Hey everyone, I'm John Edwards.
And I'm Stacey Edwards. Together we're taking over Saturday nights on Spaced Out Radio, where we're going to bring our own experiences of the paranormal and talk to the best people we can find to help bring you answers to your strange tales.
We're here to entertain your need for weekend woo! So tune us in at spacedoutradio.com starting at 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, where we can all get a little spooky together.
Spaced Out Saturday nights right here at spacedoutradio.com.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Are you an experiencer of something strange that can't be explained? Do you want help finding out what's going on? I'm Ryan Stacy, head of the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We've teamed up with Spaced Out Radio to investigate cases filled out in the SOR Sightlines report. We are independent and there's no cost to what we do. All we need is your experience. Let's find out what's happening together on the SOR Sightlines report.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at Kajans.com.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR, where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com, where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com, and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for being with us. We welcome back everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates across North America. And on our digital side, we're on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Misocania. Misocania is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We got a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, which is updated daily. We're also on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio for the show, and you can follow my personal handle at Dave Scott SOR. Tonight we are talking with famed paranormal author Joni Mayhan. And her latest book is The Hanover Haunting, the DeAnna Simpson story. And DeAnna Simpson is with us tonight about this incredible haunted story. Joni, I want to start off with you here because we didn't hear much of you the last half hour of the show. You know, as we get into the experiences of what was happening in this house, what made you decide that this was a book you needed to write?
Well, I was definitely intrigued by the story. And I had written another book about a true paranormal haunting years ago called Bones in the Basement, Surviving the S.K. Pierce Haunted Victorian Mansion. And that has also been on several paranormal shows, and it's pretty worldly famous for the haunting. And I really enjoyed getting into those stories and hearing them, how the people lived through it and what happened to them and everything. So I really did enjoy that aspect of it. And frankly, I had already written about all my haunted experiences. I was running out of material. So when DeAnna contacted me, it was there was no thought involved. I was instantly on board with it because, I mean, this was the Hanover Haunting. You know, everybody knew about it. And I was very honored to be chosen to write this book. And honestly, I was nervous in the beginning. I thought, wow, you know, she chose me. I need to make sure I really do a good job with this. So I dedicated an entire year to this book between interviewing and writing. And, you know, I interviewed DeAnna. We talked on the phone like, I don't know, 3-4 times a week. I would write what she'd tell me, and then I'd go send it to her, and she'd read it and make suggestions and interviewed other people as well. So, no, it was a fascinating process. I really enjoyed writing it.
Out of all the haunted books that you have written, why was it so important to get into such fine detail with this one?
Because these things happened to her. And having lived through some hauntings of my own, I knew it was almost like living through an avalanche or some kind of natural disaster. you had the need to tell people about it, just to have people understand it. And for DeAnna, she lived through so much of this haunting without any validation, without anybody believing her. And it was important to her to get the story down on paper, and it was important to me to tell it kind of like it happened to her. So when you read it, you feel like you're reading fiction because it's not a documentary. It's more, it's more like a fiction book, except for the fact that it's really true.
Joni Mayhan and DeAnna Simpson are here tonight. DeAnna, as we continue down the path of what was going on in your life, and finally your husband Tom has this experience with the elk head falling in his office after it was secured to the walls again, did the paranormal activity, as people started opening up in the house and the family started opening up in the house, start to increase rapidly after that point?
Yes. It started rapid. Yes, it really, really took off after that, to the point to where I said to my husband, all right, this house is haunted, and I wanted to start bringing in teams. So I went to work, and I reluctantly started talking to my coworkers about what I felt like my house was haunted, and if anybody believed in that, and somebody tipped me off to a group that I should call and have come out. And that's what I started doing, because I needed answers. I needed to find out what is happening. I needed to prove it to Tom. I needed to prove it to myself that I needed a peace of mind. I needed to know I wasn't going crazy. These things were happening. So, yes, I started bringing in paranormal teams, and they were gathering information and evidence and teaching me what EVPs were and spirit boxes and everything else. So it started like that. And they the first team brought in a medium as well. There's just so much that has happened in that house that it's like I don't even know where to begin. Like, for example, in February, we bought the house in February of 2008. It was an Indian summer day. I went outside. I took a rake. I wanted a break from unpacking. So I started raking up the yard. And as I was raking up the yard, all of a sudden, now we live on a corner lot, I hear this really elderly lady just go, "Oh, hello to you. How are you, my dear?" And when I looked up, there was this very, very elderly lady. She had one of those Ben Franklin homemade dresses on, with the black shoes, with the little sockies. She was very elderly, had the scarf on. She had a 3-legged dog that appeared to be as old as her. And I just looked at her because I'm thinking, as old as she is, how did she even make it? Like, I started raking the yard. I didn't see her. And I was just like, "Oh, hello. How are you today?" And she's like, "Oh, you're the new family that lives in the house, aren't you, dear?" And I was like, "Yeah, my name's DeAnna." And she's like, "Well, good luck to you. You're going to need it." And I went,
"Oh, my."
Yeah, I said, I'm going to need it. She goes, "Oh, yeah, there was a boy that was killed in the basement." And I went, oh, wait, hold up. Wait a minute. I went to take off my gloves, and as I was taking off my gloves, I was going to put down the rake so I can talk to her again. And I looked up, and she was completely gone. Her, the dog, I went to the corner of the lot. I looked to the left. I looked straight ahead. I looked to the right, and there was nothing there. Now I'm starting to get visuals of, like, her. Was that human, or was it? Like, she starts talking to me. She warns me. She wishes me good luck. There was a boy murdered in the basement. So it started off like that, too. Started getting a lot of warnings.
I got to ask you, in regards to the paranormal teams that you brought in, many times we've heard the horrific stories of people who don't really know about the paranormal, and they go on Google or take someone's advice. These teams come in and they do everything. They show off all the fancy gear, and then, they end up stirring things up to the point where it gets a little ugly and uglier with the paranormal activity, almost like they are being reactive and upset that you had the nerve to bring these paranormal people in to try and communicate with them. And I'm wondering, did that happen with you, considering you didn't really know who you were bringing into your house?
Yes, you're absolutely correct. I needed answers so bad. I was bringing in a lot of teams. And a lot of those teams, I'm not saying they were bad or anything like that, but it really stirred the house up. And the problem is that when these teams came in and they brought their mediums and they brought their technology, it just evoked the house. It was as if the house was feeding on them. And every time I brought somebody in, it was growing and growing. And I mean the house, the entities, the energies. The house was coming alive. It was feeding off of them, and it was making it worse. Especially if you get somebody in here and right away they're like, oh, this is demonic. We got to do this. We got to do that. And then they leave. And then they leave. And then we were the ones that were left behind. And the more it got worse, the more intense it got, the more occurrences that were happening to me, the more I brought in, because I thought that was the only way to cure it.
So what is your advice, stepping away from the book for a second here, what is your advice to people out there who may be in your shoes, who have never contacted a paranormal team before, so that way they don't have to go through what you went through?
Do your research. Don't do like I did and just come on in. Oh, I didn't get the answers I wanted. Come on in. Oh, well, she said this, and I need to do that now. Come on in. Now I need to get this. I need the sage. I need to this. I need to get crystals. I need to start putting nails in all four corners of my house. No. Do your research. Do not
disconnect.
No problem. Sorry, we disconnected from Joni there for a second, but we got her back now.
Okay. But
So
don't
do your
do like I
research.
did and just start. Yeah, do your research. Just don't grab the first card and say, come on in. Ask them for peoples and families that they've helped. Do your research and call these people. Talk to them. Ask what was going on.
And Joni, I bring you back in here for a quick second because I don't know if you caught all of that because your line disconnected. But the question I had asked Deanna is, what advice would she give? Because she just basically went online and found paranormal teams and said, come on in. And they're stirring things up and things are now getting worse. You've been in the paranormal field a long time. And here she is saying, this isn't something that we should be doing. Do your research. I would like to get you to mention something about that.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree with what she said. The thing of it is there are a lot of really good, dedicated teams out there that do their homework, and they know what to do, and they know what not to do. But then there's also a lot of people that are in it for the adrenaline rush. They're in it for the experience or the good EVP they can share with their friends. They're in it to make themselves famous because they've uncovered something to do with a haunting. And they don't care how they leave the house. They stir everything up. They provoke. They get everything really agitated, and then they go home. And they leave the homeowners in a situation where now they not only have ghosts in their house, they have angry ghosts in their house, and the ghosts will take it out on the homeowner. And that's pretty much what happened to DeAnna. So, yeah, I always say, if you feel like you have a haunting, really do your research. Ask people, ask friends, get on Facebook, look at the forums, do your homework, get a personal recommendation. And sometimes I don't even think the teams are the way to go sometimes. Sometimes I think a good psychic medium coming in is helpful as well. So, it just depends on which avenue you decide to pursue, but whatever you do, get a lot of recommendations.
Absolutely. Great advice, and thank you for sharing that. Were you guys ever physically attacked, DeAnna, in your house?
Yes. One example of being attacked is Tom and I, we were in the family room, and I just said, I'm so tired. I'm going to go to bed. I'll see. And Tom says, I'll be right up after the movie's over. So, okay, so our bedroom the house had been flipped. So it was an attic, and the attic was, refurbished into, a walk-in bathroom, closet, bedroom. So I say, I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going to bed. I'm so tired. So I go to walk up. And I'm just so tired. And I'm on the 8th step. And I just kind of looked up, and there was my other cat, my female. And I was like, hey, Beanie Weenie, how are you? And she's looking at me. And I'm like, hey, baby, mommy's going to bed. And with that, the cat, all of a sudden, her hair just started standing up on the back of her back. And she ran off. And with that, I just had this overwhelming sense of fear, to the point where, I just started shaking, and I'm trying to get my breath. And then and I'm looking intensely, because I'm thinking, where are you? Where are you? And I wouldn't dare go up anymore. And then out of the corner, I see this black mass coming towards me. And as it was coming towards me, I just stood there, and I just froze, and I just started shaking. And as I was shaking, these tree branch-like arms, just as it's coming at me, just ferociously, I see these eyes, these red glowing eyes, and the tree branches coming out of this mass, came up, grabbed my shoulders, and was like a loud, deep Boris Karloff growl, just slammed me. And with that, I flew completely off of the 8 steps. I fell, hit the landing on my butt, slammed me into the wall, hit my head. Then I fell over to my right. I fell through the door, which led up to the bedroom, and it felt like something had a hold of my hair, dragged me through the kitchen, and I stopped once I got to the kitchen table.
Oh, my goodness.
And and it found out that what had happened is, Tom, I couldn't scream. It was like as if you were knocked off of, remember when you were a kid and you would go swinging and you'd jump off the swing and maybe you'd land real hard and the wind's been knocked out of you? Well, the wind was knocked out of me. I couldn't cry. I couldn't anything. Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about. And Tom came rushing in like, what the heck? What the heck is going on here? Oh, my goodness, what's going on? I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. He starts shaking me. He says, I'm going to call an ambulance. And I finally just start screaming. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, no, just hold me. And it turned out that I ended up going to the doctors, and I had a hairline fracture of my tailbone.
Oh, that's terrible.
It was horrific. I mean, we've been bit, we've been scratched, we've been stroked, we've been cut, we've been marked by this thing.
pinned to the
that,
bed?
yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. Is physical abuse, Joni, a common factor in a lot of hauntings like this?
I think most hauntings don't get to this stage. It takes a really high-level, powerful ghost to be able to manipulate a physical environment. So you don't see things of this extreme nature because simply they can't do it. It takes something very terrible, very strong, very ancient, very evil to be able to learn how to do things like push you down the stairs. Because, I mean, there's a lot of hauntings out there where people move into a house and there's a ghost there that doesn't want them there. And, you know, they would be pushing people down the stairs right and left. And it doesn't happen that often. And that was another reason why I was so drawn to this story, because it was so physical, so manipulative. So, yeah, I don't think that this happens as often. I mean, if you watch a lot of paranormal shows, you'll be led to believe that this happens all the time. But in my experiences, it's fairly rare for them to be able to do what they did to her in that house.
DeAnna Simpson, Joni Mayhan are our guests tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We only have about 90 seconds before we're going to go to break at the bottom of the hour. I got to ask, Joni, as we're continuing here, at what point, you know, when you learned about this entire situation with everything, did you say, look, this is something that we need to look into. We need to help this person. We need to get this message out to help other people?
Right away. I mean, literally before I even started the book, when I met DeAnna and I went into her house and I felt this, I knew that we definitely needed to help DeAnna. And by getting her story out, it might help other people. You know, DeAnna was a victim of abuse from a previous marriage, and they really latched onto that. So, you know, they take people that are vulnerable and afraid and scare them to death. So I think that, you know, one thing that we wanted to come out of this is that, you know, stand up for yourself and don't let anybody tell you that you're not experiencing what you're experiencing. It is real.
DeAnna, would you concur with that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
I figured you would. I figured you would. And you know what? We're going to continue this discussion right after this on Spaced Out Radio, because we do have to go to break at the bottom of the hour. But, I mean, this haunting is something that has affected a lot of people. And we never really think of hauntings as being this eerie, this life-affecting, this type of insanity that actually goes on. You don't expect to be harassed by spirits in your home to the point where you want to leave your own dream house. We'll learn more. Joni Mayhan, DeAnna Simpson. The Hanover Haunting continues on Spaced Out Radio next.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
We're taking Sunday nights out of this world on Spaced Out Radio. This is Michael W. Hall, also known as the Paranormal Lawyer. Together, we're going to go on an exciting journey into the unknown. I'm going to bring you some of the best interviews in the paranormal and supernatural to start your new week off on a freaky note. So tune in to Spaced Out Sundays with me, Michael W. Hall, only on spacedoutradio.com.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Need that weekend supernatural fix? Look no further than Spaced Out Saturday right here at spacedoutradio.com. I'm Stacey Edwards.
And I'm John Edwards. Each Saturday night, Stacey and I are going to bring you the best in paranormal, cryptids, UFOs, you name it, and we're going there.
It's all about the experience and to share the knowledge with all of you.
So tune us in every Saturday night on Spaced Out Saturdays, starting at 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
We pass the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. And man, we have a little bit of a cool story to tell all of you here momentarily. But first, I want to remind all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. You could do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, which is updated daily. And follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio for the show, as well as my personal handle at Dave Scott SOR. Tonight we are talking about the Hanover Haunting, the DeAnna Simpson story. DeAnna is with us, along with author Joni Mayhan, who's one of the top paranormal authors in North America. Ladies, welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we might as well open up with this. During the break, we had a voice come through the phone. Now, for people who don't know, when we're doing the show, we are live on YouTube. So if you're listening on the radio, you are actually tuning on in to the radio side. You go to commercial break, whereas on YouTube, because we simulcast on there in our YouTube channel for the show, we actually don't play the commercials. We continue talking with the guests and chat with the people on the chat room and everything like that. And as the ladies were agreeing on something, they both went, yeah, but there was this little girl's voice in between that joined them and said, yeah. Just like that. Nice and simple, subtle, not a lot of tequila needed to hear that. So we actually got an EVP, and reading in the chat rooms on YouTube that probably 10 or 12 people heard that as well, which is really cool. Does this happen often, Joni?
It does. It's not the first time somebody's recorded an AVP while we were on a radio show. So between DeAnna and I, we probably have collected a couple ghosts. So it's hard to say. I feel like we draw them in when we talk about this stuff and they get intrigued. So a little girl, though, that's new.
Why not? Why not? It's kind of cool. It's very cool. Well, that may lead into another story that we get into tonight. We're talking about the Hanover Haunting here. And, DeAnna, I want to kick this half hour off with you here because you're having so much fun. You only scheduled to be an hour, then it was an hour and a half, and now you're going all the way because you're having way too much fun with us, and we appreciate that. I got to ask you, we talked the last half hour about things getting physical. That little boy that you were told was killed in the basement. Did you ever learn any more information about that?
Yes, I did. I started talking to all the locals about it, and I did talk to this one woman that lived across the street who used to cut the hair of the original first owners of the home. She had told me that what had happened is the man had an affair, spawned off a little boy that had Down syndrome. The mistress, the child took the mistress's name, and the woman left town, but she came back when the child was about 14 or 15 and brought the boy back and said, "Here, he's yours. I can't handle him." So what had happened is Clayton, the man that owned the home, the original owner, had a brother named Raymond. Now, a lot of locals told me that what had happened was that Raymond started to sexually molest the boy. And then the boy started acting out he was so traumatized by this that he would go around, and if he picked up a stray kitten or a stray cat, or if your dog were to wander into his yard, or if he were to just steal the dog from your yard, he would throw it into the burn barrel alive. So he was torturing animals and acting out because he was being tortured by his uncle. So what had happened, what I was told from the locals, is that the story went that the uncle came back to the house. The young boy said, "I'm going to tell my dad if you do this again." So they said that the boy accidentally mishandled a firearm, and because there was a bullet wound to the back side of the head. But then coincidentally, the same day that the boy supposedly shot himself in the head.
Oh, that's terrible.
It's terrible. He crawled over to the ledge of the basement step, and that's as far as he made it. But the uncle, which was named Raymond, that's all I'll say, went to his sister's house at New Oxford, and he blew his head off.
Well, that's terrible. It's a horrible story.
Yes.
Horrible. No offense.
Yes. Yeah, horrible. Absolutely horrific. Turns out that I found out, it's amazing, once you start, ever since we got on Fox 43 News, and the news crew was attacked, and they captured the apparition, on the camera. It's amazing how many people, everybody shut their door on me, but then when we went viral, everybody started coming to me. They started ringing the doorbell. They were leaving messages on our house phone. We also were told that the second owners of the house, also there was a lot of domestic abuse. Yeah. There was alcoholism, very abusive to the wife. The husband left several times, came back and forth and back and forth. And I know when Amy Allen from the Dead Files, who is amazing, an amazing person, when she was down in the basement, she said, "Oh my gosh, I see a man and he's throwing his daughter down." And what he did to her was horrific. And she said he took advantage of her. That was the first impression she got when she went down those steps. And I'm like, so what? There was murder, there's incest, and then it gets worse. I mean,
oh my goodness.
I was upstairs in our bedroom. This is when, it's bad enough that I was threw down the steps. I had a hairline fracture in my tailbone. It took me a long time before I started going upstairs and sleeping. But I was upstairs, started washing my face in the bathroom sink. And when I looked up, I'm drying off my face. And Dave, I get this image of this young girl. She's about 17, 20 months old. Her face was all mauled up. She's completely saturated in water, like she had water all over her. Her face was bleeding. she had a tea-stained dress on with blood all down it. And she just looked at me like, I need help. I need help. And it was just a baby, 17 months old, just a baby. And we found out through Steve DeShavi when they did the Dead Files that there was a woman named Lydia Small that on the property back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, that they lived on that property, which was ours. And there was a stream there. And it found out that this little girl fell into the well and drowned. And the description of the little girl was the same one that I saw in the mirror. When I very first saw her, as she came to me, well, I was losing my mind. I mean, I just fell down to the ground and I was just saying the Lord's Prayer because she was just looking at me. She was dead. It was as if she was crying. She had just devilish eyes, and I just fell down, started crying, saying the Lord's Prayer. And yes, we found out through Steve when the Dead Files came out that
my goodness.
Yeah.
I want to ask you one. Sorry, go ahead. Continue, please.
No, please.
Oh, I was going to ask you, thank you, about what happened for those who may not know, like myself, who doesn't get a lot of American news. What happened when the television crew showed up?
Oh, you mean the news crew? Oh, Fox
yeah, the
43.
News crew.
Okay. When Fox 43 news crew showed up, actually, Katie, she said, when I opened the door, I was like, oh, welcome. She was like, is this the haunted house? And I was like, yes, this is the haunted house. I'm DeAnna Simpson. She was like, it doesn't look like a haunted house. And I was like, you've watched too much TV, Katie. If you're waiting for a window to be broke and a bat flying out, maybe a dead carcass of a cat laying on the front porch, if you're looking for cobwebs, that's television. This house is haunted. And she goes, Nick, let's go. This interview is going to be quick. And oh, by the way, DeAnna, I have a Ouija board. Can we bring it in for some fun?
Oh,
and
nice.
I was like, yeah. I was like, what? No. Heck no. You are not bringing a Ouija board in here. And she was like, all right, fine. Come on, Nick, let's go. This is going to be quick. This won't take long. So they come into the house, and I was like, be careful what you say. And she was like, ooh, why? Is the house going to get me? And I was like, yes, it will. She goes, oh, so I'm going to have an experience? And I said, yes, I can guarantee that. And I said, come on, behave. Don't make a mockery of the home. Let's come in the kitchen. We sat down at the kitchen, and as soon as Katie started interviewing me, asking me, Nick, as he was filming, he just all of a sudden just goes, ow, oh my gosh, oh, my arm is burning. And he had a gash across his wrist. And he put the camera down, and he showed Katie, and he ran out of the house, and he had to sit on the front porch and put his head between his knees because he thought he was going to pass out.
Oh, my goodness.
And, yep, and Katie was like, get back in here right now, get your camera. And as soon as he came back, he sat down next to me. I started putting holy water on him because he felt nauseous. He had a migraine. And then she says, I want to know which door slammed, which door closes on you, and, let's go upstairs, and come on, Nick, let's go. So we were upstairs, and I was telling her all what happened on the second floor of the woman that we saw in black that smelled like urine and fecal matter. And as I was telling her my story, I actually had my camera. I had my phone in my hand, and my camera was on. And as she was standing there, this big black arm shot across the room, and you can see a hand coming out of the black shadow trying to grab her. And shortly afterwards, she felt a slap, and it was like scratching her and slapping her, and she kept going, ow, 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 you know. You could tell she was being under an attack.
Did she believe then?
She totally believed then, and she took it all serious, and it was very serious. And at that point, Nick, as he was taking the camera and he was trying to capture her while she was being slapped and scratched, as he was turning the camera towards her, he just all of a sudden screamed. And she was like, what is wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And he said, I saw a woman. I saw a woman. And then Katie and Nick, she was like, come on, let's go downstairs right now. Let's, you know, she wanted to leave the room. And as they went downstairs in the kitchen, she was like, rewind the tape. Like she, all of a sudden, it was this big thing. And it was like a TV screen, like back in the 60s with the rabbit ears, with the aluminum foil. It was just like everything they shot, they had lost.
It wiped their tapes.
So, it wiped their tapes. And Nick was like, I'm done. I'm out of here. I'm leaving. And she was like, you're not going anywhere. He says, I'm done. And he walked out. And she did too.
Oh, that's such... For people who don't know how the media works, especially with camera people, basically when you're a reporter, you dictate what shots you need to your camera person to make your story as the reporter. And it's usually a relationship that is very tight between people because you want to be able to work with people whom you trust to get the footage that you need. I mean, that is just, you know, the fact that, you know, you hear that she's bossing the camera person around and he's finally said, that's it, I'm done. You know, from a journalism point of view, that's actually kind of funny. It really is. I don't mean to take it that way, but that's the reality of it.
No, that is the reality of it. And when Fox 43 News wanted to come back for a Halloween clip, Nick would not come. He said, I will never step foot back in that house again. That is a house of hell. And Nick would not come. They had to get another cameraman. He refused. He wouldn't do it.
No kidding. No kidding. Joni, is the house that spooky? You've been there.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's there's the thing about that house is that there are layers to the haunting. So most haunted houses, you're going to have probably one ghost, maybe two. If you're lucky or unlucky, you might have three. This house had just at least a dozen, plus it had an open portal. So one of the theories that we have is that when that boy was shot to death in the basement, that it opened up a portal, and it became a doorway to the other side. So everything was coming through that portal. And I've actually stood in that portal, and you can feel it. It's a very strong, you're very off balance. You feel like you're in the middle of a hurricane. And everything was coming through that portal. So she was getting not only her own haunting, which was so many different layers. I mean, you know, start off with she had both former homeowners still haunting the house. The little boy was still there. You know, and we'll get into another story in a minute, I'm sure. But you know, she had two others in the house, and then just taken to account that this land was so saturated with negativity, so many bad things that happened here. During the Battle of Gettysburg, the soldiers marched through that area. There was actually a battle during the Civil War in Hanover a soldier died on DeAnna's property, bled to death right there on where her house is. So much has happened there that the area, a lot of suicides in the area, a lot of deaths, a lot of unnatural deaths. So it's almost like the ground was just saturated with this energy. And then you add in all this haunting in the portal that it was just a perfect storm, really.
We've got about 2.5, 3 minutes here to go before we go to break. And, we got to start kind of pushing things towards, the final culmination of tonight's show in the next 35 minutes here. DeAnna, I want to ask you in regards to this, what happened to finally break the camel's back here? Because obviously you don't live in the house anymore. You had enough. What was the final straw?
The final straw is what happened next. That occurred in the house that maybe I should tell you after the break, unless you have time now.
Warm us up. Tease us a little.
All right. I'm going to tease you a little. There is this male dark entity there that at one time, my second husband, it was a very bad, abusive relationship. I used to get in my car and drive for hours because I didn't want to go back home. And where else can you go but a cemetery? Because, you can't go to the mall. The police would be asking you what you're doing. I couldn't go back home. I had nowhere to go. So I started hanging out at the cemeteries. I found peace and solace there. I could just go to a cemetery, sit and wait, cry my heart out, talk about, my situation to God, what was happening to me in my abusive relationship. And I actually picked up, which I did not know, I picked up an entity. I got an attachment that followed me home.
Well, you're a beacon at that point. That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yes. Because my husband was very, No. And then this just draw in the last straw.
Wow. Well, we only got about 20 seconds here to go before we go to break here at the top of the hour. We got Joni Mayhan and DeAnna Simpson for another half hour in hour 3. Then we're going to get to the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Dave to round out the hour. I love these haunting stories. The sad part about it is we just never have enough time. There's too many questions, too many stories, too much intrigue. And sometimes you just literally have to tell the story the best you can, and that's what we're trying to do here on Spaced Out Radio tonight. Joni Mayhan, author extraordinaire of the Paranormal, the DeAnna Simpson story, the Hanover Haunting, the DeAnna Simpson story you could get in major bookstores and on Amazon online as well. Hour 3 next on Spaced Out Radio.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Hi there, this is the paranormal lawyer Michael W. Hall. I'd like to invite you to listen in each Sunday night where we're going to open up your eyes to everything strange and paranormal. I will be hosting some great guests with topics that affect us all, such as UFOs, ghosts, and everything paranormal. Let's learn together on Spaced Out Radio Sunday with myself, Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer at spacedoutradio.com.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Hello everyone, this is Ryan Stacy from the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We're glad to team up with Spaced Out Radio to help investigate your experiences on the SOR Sightlines Report. Together, we'll investigate the strange sightings and occurrences you've had. We're looking for answers just like you. So fill out a Sightlines Report on the Spaced Out Radio website and let's figure out what's going on together.
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at mightymoosebeard.com today.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you'd know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
Hey everyone, I'm John Edwards.
And I'm Stacey Edwards. Together we're taking over Saturday nights on Spaced Out Radio, where we're going to bring our own experiences of the paranormal and talk to the best people we can find to help bring you answers to your strange tales.
We're here to entertain your need for weekend woo! So tune us in at spacedoutradio.com starting at 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, where we can all get a little spooky together.
Spaced Out Saturday nights right here at spacedoutradio.com.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Here we go with hour number 3 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. Hi to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around the continent. On the digital side, we're proud to broadcast on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Misocania. Misocania is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, which is updated daily. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter for the show at Spaced Out Radio and my personal handle at Dave Scott SOR. For the final time tonight, I introduce author Joni Mayhan and DeAnna Simpson. Their book, The Hanover Haunting, the DeAnna Simpson story. This has been a creepy night here on Spaced Out Radio all night long, and if you miss portions of it, you're going to want to go back and hear it. Ladies, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
All right. The final issue that happened before you decided, that's it, the for sale sign is going up. What happened, DeAnna?
Well, what happened is I got an attachment from always going to the cemetery, because when my husband was abusive, I had to get away. So I told you before we took a break that there was this one particular cemetery that I found comfort in going and just sitting at the cemetery. So what had happened is when I felt like it was safe for me to go back home and I was sure that he'd be passed out, I would go home and go to sleep. Well, one night, in the middle of the night, I started hearing this tapping on the window. And it sounded like a fingernail, like a tap, tap, tap. And then it screeched down the window, tap, 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 and screech. And every time I got up, I would go look, saw nothing. Get up, look, saw nothing. This went on for about a month. And then all of a sudden, one evening, I hear the tapping on the window and then the screech of the fingernail. So I get up and I'm like, gosh darn it, what is this? And when I opened up the window, I saw this woman, and she was, oh my gosh, she was dressed in black, and she was mauled. It looked like a bear got a hold of her face. Half of her face was ripped off. It was all sliced. Yes. Her face, one side of her face was all sliced, mauled, ripped off. Her eyeball was out of her socket. Her dress, she wore a black, like 1800s type dress. Her left shoulder, you could see where her dress was torn. She had half flesh. You can see into her bone, into her arm. And she pointed her finger and pointed it, and I thought she was pointing at me, but she wasn't actually pointing at me. She kept pointing. And with that, I started hearing the jiggle of the doorknob, and then the jiggle started rattling the closet door. And this went on, and like as if she was trying to warn me. She was trying to warn me. And the closet door would open, and nothing would happen. Closet door would open, nothing would happen. But she would always show up at the window right when this action was about to take with the closet door. Well, one night I was asleep, okay? I was asleep. And I was dreaming that I saw myself. I was dreaming that I was on the ceiling of my bedroom, looking down on my body while I was asleep. I turned to look at the closet door, and this black, now I'm on the ceiling, looking down. I see my body asleep, and I look at the closet door, and I see this black, slithering, snake-type image come out from underneath the closet door, and when it came out, it formed into the waist up was a half of a man. The lower part was like a black, slithering snake. He had a black hat. He had like a gray ashen face. And at that point, I remember being up, on the ceiling. And at that point, I was no longer looking down on my body. It was as if I went right back into my body. And this half man, half reptilian snake with a big black hat, this entity hopped on me, and he pinned me down while I was laying on the bed, and he just came up in my face, and his breath smelled like decay, like rotting flesh. And as he put his hand on my body, like what is it, Dave? Is it an incubus? Is that like a male dark entity? Succubus. Thank you. He just got in my face, and I just remember shuddering. And when he touched me, it just felt like hot, searing, just so much pain. Like, I can't describe it. But he said, I can taste you. I can smell you. I can feel you. And with that, he was caressing my body with his hot hand, just scarring right across into my body. And I just started screaming the Lord's Prayer, saying the Lord's Prayer. And all of a sudden, I just opened up my eyes, and he was gone.
That is right out of a Freddy Krueger movie. My goodness.
It was awful. It was awful. And that's what this woman's, I found out that I kept calling her, I kept saying to her, what is your name? Every time she came to the window, she was warning me that he was there and he was going to attack me. Long story short, I did a lot of research. I went downtown New York. I went to the Historical Society. Turns out that this woman, Christiana, was murdered by this man that was pinning me down and violating me and telling me that he can taste me and smell me and see me and I was his. Turned out this man, I was seeing her in her death state because he had murdered her.
Oh, my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
So
and
at that point,
I got all the information. Mm-hmm.
So at that point, you say to Tom, your hubby, I'm out.
Yes.
Put the for sale sign
I'm
up. I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did anything
I'm like,
carry
I love
over?
you, and that's it.
Now, did anything carry over to your next home where you are now?
Yes, Christiana, she was my protector for years. She let me know when the bad entities come, and she is still here, Dave. She still taps on the window. This time she doesn't raise her bony half flesh on, half flesh off, torn black dress. She doesn't raise her arm to warn me. She does not. But she's here. She needs to go. I keep telling her to go to the light. You're okay, but she is still with me.
Now, Joni,
Yeah.
is there not a way that this Christiana can be cleared, or has it gone too far in order to, remove this spirit attachment from DeAnna?
Well, Deanna's house was finally cleansed. That was how she was able to escape. They were holding her in place. Christiana sees herself as Deanna's protector, and I feel like she's still unsettled, still at unrest. And we were really hoping that by telling her story and getting it out there, that would give her some comfort. But so far, it hasn't happened. We're very hopeful that this gets picked up and made into a major motion picture, and maybe that will be what she needs. She needs something a little bit more widespread, or maybe she needs some kind of plaque at her gravesite. She has an kind of unmarked grave, so nobody really even knows of her story until we started telling it. So I think she's just looking for maybe validation, or I don't know. I mean, her murderer never was convicted because back then they didn't have, CSI teams. Nobody saw it. They suspected who did it, but they couldn't prove it. And he came up with a fake alibi. So he got off scot-free. So, she ended up, getting murdered and kind of drugged through the mud a little bit in the end. And, she saw DeAnna as someone who had gone through something kind of similar to her, except for minus the murder. But, and one abused woman to another. She thought, I couldn't do anything about myself, but maybe I can help this woman.
And no matter how much you tell her that she can move on, she just won't.
No. And I feel like, Dave, and Joni is quite aware of this, she helped me so much. I don't know what I would have done without her when I was in the haunted house, because she protected me from Ephraim. Now I feel like it's up to me. I need to return the favor to her like she did for me. And the only way that she's going to be set free is, she was made the town spectacle, as hundreds and hundreds of people wanted to see her smashed in face and her smashed in head. Nobody had ever seen a spectacle like this. Or just a horrific thing. Like Joni said, the murderer got off scot-free, married, had kids, had a life, and she was just, put in an unmarked spot. So she didn't have justification. I need to tell this story in order to help her find peace within so she can pass on.
Joni, you have some theories about everything that's kind of gone on here. I'd love to spend a few minutes here, because we only got about 8 minutes left in tonight's show with you guys, about what your theories are with everything that's gone on.
Yeah, I kind of already talked about it a little bit, but I feel like that DeAnna's house just had so many layers. You know, we talked about the Gettysburg battle,
Right.
all the negative things. You know, even before that, back in the 1700s, there was Dudley Diggs was a very wealthy businessman, and he owned a lot of land through there. And he was nasty. He was really mean. Like, he would, if homesteaders were on his property, he would, you know, force them off or cause them to pay huge amounts of rent. And during one of his skirmishes with one of the homeowners on his property, his son actually was murdered or shot by the homeowner. So there's just so many layers of things that have happened in this area, and the land kind of recorded that and held on to it. It's almost like it was a cesspool of negativity. And, you know, when John Zaffis came in and investigated, you know, he told DeAnna, this thing is ancient. It's been here forever, and it wants you dead so it can claim your soul, and it wants you to be its bride. And you know, so there's just so many really bad ghosts there. They were somehow existing in the same small house. And you look at this house, and it's a cute little brick house. I mean, it definitely doesn't qualify for what you think of when you think of a haunted house. You might think of a Victorian mansion or something, you know, kind of broken down. And this is the cutest little house. It looks just like, you know, any of the other houses in the neighborhood. And it's like, why this house? Why this particular house? And it was something we never really could explain, but the portal really had a big part of it. And I think that happened after the boy was shot in the basement. And DeAnna and Tom would often hear gunshots in the house and couldn't explain it. Tom always tried to blame it on a car backfiring, driving by. But, you know, they just, and there was another haunting up in the attic, DeAnna's bedroom. They would smell really foul odors, and found out that one of the owners had a mentally ill sister that he brought there and locked her up in the attic. And back in those days, they didn't have heat or air conditioning, so it was very hot. And that's just pretty much where she lived. They'd take her down every once in a while and, you know, bathe her. But, you know, she had a bucket and she had a couple meals a day, and that was it. She was locked up there. So when they would smell those foul odors, they were probably smelling her. And they would hear her chanting and screaming in the middle of the night and couldn't explain it. So just, you know, so many different ghosts there that just stuck and stayed and tormented DeAnna, that it's, you know, it's almost unexplainable.
Joni, do we know if the new owners of this house are having that same type of activity, or did the cleansing fully work and that house is just as peaceful as ever?
Well, the new owners of the house are actually the old owners of the house. DeAnna was never able to sell the house because it had so much notoriety. Nobody wanted to buy it. So it was on the market for a good long while. And it's now being rented out by friends of hers. And it was cleansed, so there's nothing, I mean, it is still haunted. There's still something there. They hear things on occasion, but nothing to the extent. They needed to get Ephraim out, and some of the really nasty ghosts that were able to manipulate their environment. Once they were gone, it settled down quite a bit. I'm friends with the people that live there now, and I don't hear a whole lot from them. DeAnna, do you hear a lot from them?
No, it's calmed down quite a bit. And you're right, you know, they'll smell the cigars, or they'll smell this, or they'll hear footsteps, or they'll hear a knocking or a bang. But nothing, just like Joni said, nothing is catastrophic because it has been removed. Now, they've only just moved in December. And I told them, don't engage, don't this, don't that, don't start filming, don't start recording, don't anything. But it's nothing like it was. No, that hell has been removed.
Do you feel at peace, DeAnna?
You know, I feel at peace, but there's a part of me that has to let it go. I'm still traumatized from what has happened. I'm at total peace in my home. It's all love and light. I thank God every day, and I'm very blessed for what Tom and I have, and that we are so grateful that we were able to get out. But I will forever be changed. I won't be a victim, but I'll never forget either.
That's a good way to put it. Very good way to put it. Joni, we have about 2 minutes left, and I want to say thank you for introducing us to DeAnna on this show tonight. And you're an incredible author. You're an incredible researcher. When you look at this story, how did this story affect you emotionally, not only as a paranormal investigator, but as a paranormal author as well?
Well, I've experienced a lot of these things that DeAnna's experienced on a smaller level. I've never been pinned to my bed like that. But, I've been tormented. I've been stalked. And so it brought back some, I suffered from PTSD too for a long time. Every time I'd hear noise, I'd jump. And so it was really beneficial for DeAnna and I to get together because I feel like I was able to help her heal and help her understand. We've been working on things like grounding and how to protect herself through, creating a shield and learning a lot of things on how she can keep herself from bringing anything else home. And I just feel like it's been a really wonderful experience for both of us. For me, it's opened up some doors. I got to meet John Zaffis, and he wrote the foreword for this book. And he just asked me if I would do the formatting for his new book that they just released. So I got to do that, and lots of projects ahead, hopefully. So it's been an incredible experience, and getting to know DeAnna. I mean, we're like sisters at this point. We talk on the phone all the time, and the bond that we've created has really been just wonderful. And people are really enjoying this book. I love going on and reading the Amazon reviews. We have something like 41, 42 reviews, and all but 2 of them are 5-star. So people are really enjoying this book. But what they're saying is that they can't read it at night because all of a sudden they start hearing things in their house. They start seeing shadows move, and they're like, I can't do this. I'm freaking myself out. So they always say, don't read this at night, which is great.
Joni Mayhan DeAnna Simpson, thank you so much for coming on Spaced Out Radio tonight. A real pleasure to have that story shared with our audience. Coming up next, we have the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Day. Stay tuned as we take this thing home.
Hey, Spaced Out Radio fans! It's John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. Our goal is to make the life of veterans, first responders, and those with rare medical conditions 10% happier. We do this by donating one grant item, ranging from vans to therapy programs to prosthetic limbs, to those who need it most. To contribute to Spaced Out Radio's official charity, head over to chivecharities.org and become a donor today.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Need that weekend supernatural fix? Look no further than Spaced Out Saturday right here at spacedoutradio.com. I'm Stacey Edwards.
And I'm John Edwards. Each Saturday night, Stacey and I are going to bring you the best in paranormal, cryptids, UFOs, you name it, and we're going there.
It's all about the experience and to share the knowledge with all of you.
So tune us in every Saturday night on Spaced Out Saturdays, starting at 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Hi there, this is the paranormal lawyer Michael W. Hall. I'd like to invite you to listen in each Sunday night where we're going to open up your eyes to everything strange and paranormal. I will be hosting some great guests with topics that affect us all, such as UFOs, ghosts, and everything paranormal. Let's learn together on Spaced Out Radio Sunday with myself, Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer at spacedoutradio.com.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, and while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to remind all of you that if you miss most of this show or others, you can check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, which is updated daily. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio for the show, at Dave Scott SOR for my personal handle. Yeah, come hang out with us on the Twitterverse. Speaking of the news, let's get to it, shall we? The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire at the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the strange, and the odd. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you got COVID virus, and there's a number of people who do out there, maybe some of you who are tuned on in, don't go to New York. Do not go to New York. It is not good there. Why? Well, health officials in that state issued an extreme guideline instructing first responders not to bother resuscitating anyone found without a pulse in the midst of the hospital's overloads with coronavirus patients. Paramedics in the state had previously been told to spend up to 20 minutes trying to revive people in cardiac arrest. Now, according to a New York Health Department memo that was issued last week, the changes were necessary during the COVID-19 response to protect health and safety of EMS providers by limiting their exposure, conserve resources, and ensure optimal use of equipment to save the greatest number of lives. The guidelines have angered first responders across the state. They're not giving people a second chance to live anymore, says Oren Barzili, head of the city's union, which represents EMTs and paramedics. Our job is to bring patients back to life. This guideline takes that away from us. New York currently has 251,690 cases of those who have tested positive with the coronavirus. Some 14,828 people have died. The lack of 20-minute effort could impact those numbers. Now, you don't get 20 minutes of CPR if you have no rhythm, a veteran firefighter says. Referring to when paramedics arrive on the scene, they simply let you die. The paramedic did say that a small percentage, roughly 3 or 4 out of 100 patients, are actually brought back to life through CPR and other intervention methods. Following the release of the health department's memo, the FDNY released a letter on Friday stating that the NYC 911 system, or New York City 911 system, will continue to maintain a higher level of care. According to the state health department, the new guidelines have been in use in many areas of the U.S. as well as other locations throughout the world. These changes are based on standards widely agreed upon by the physician leaders of EMS regional medical control systems across New York State and the Medical Standards Committee of the State Emergency Medical Services Advisory Council, a department rep has stated. So basically what they're saying is, if you got COVID, you're dying. They don't care. There is no humanity in that. Nothing. Look, I mean, this is a horrid disease that is out there. All right? It's not someone's fault. But your job as a paramedic or a doctor is to save people, not kill people. Look, I know the argument, all right? If this one dies, the disease dies with it. Throw some lime on the body while it's still soft. But this is ridiculous. I don't agree with this whatsoever. There's no humanity in that whatsoever. Everybody deserves a shot to live. We only got one shot at this on this planet that we know of. This is just wrong. Absolutely wrong. 2 pet cats, by the way, in New York State have tested positive for coronavirus, marking the first confirmed cases in companion animals in the United States. The cats, which had mild respiratory illnesses and are expected to recover, are thought to have contracted the virus from people in their households or neighbors. The U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Federal Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said the finding comes after positive tests in 7 tigers and lions at the Bronx Zoo, and now the CDC is recommending that people prevent their pets from interacting with other people or animals outside their homes. Why? This is in New York State. Why not just kill them? The 2 cats live in different parts of the state. The USDA and CDC wouldn't say where specifically. The first cat fell ill about a week after a person in its household had a short respiratory illness, though the person's ailment wasn't confirmed to be COVID-19. The second cat's owner tested positive for the disease before the cat became sick, officials said. Another cat in the same home hasn't shown any signs of illness. Treating the cats better than we are humans. Go figure. Louisiana authorities arrested a pastor on an assault charge after he admitted that he drove his church bus towards a man who had been protesting his decision to hold mass gatherings in defiance of public health orders. The police department in Central, a suburb of the capital Baton Rouge, said on a posting on their Facebook page that Tony Spell, the pastor of Life Tabernacle Church, turned himself into the department and was arrested on charges of aggravated assault and improper backing. Officials said Spell also had outstanding traffic tickets. Well, that's not very godly of him. Spell was taken to the East Baton Rouge Parish Prison, where about 70 of his parishioners, dressed in their Sunday best, arrived in church buses to show support. Men in ties, jackets, women in their matching outfits gathered in their parking lot across the street. They stood close to each other, praying and singing hymns while guards, some wearing protective masks, watched. Spell eventually walked out of the jail to applause from his supporters after his wife entered the jail with a handful of cash that had been delivered by someone in a car. Online booking records indicate bail was set at $175. The guy couldn't even pay for his own bail. He had to get it off a parishioner. My rights to have church and to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ are endowed to me by my Creator, not my district attorney, not my chief of police, and not my governor, John Bell Edwards, Spell said, not my president, and not my Department of Justice. The arrest happened on the same day the East Baton Rouge Parish coroner reported that deaths in the parish, which encompasses the state capital of Baton Rouge and Central, had surpassed 100. Before Spell was released, one Spell supporter shouted defiantly at Trey Bennett, the protester Spell is accused of assaulting. Bennett also showed up at the jail carrying his protest sign. It says, "Close this church" on one side, "Danger, coronavirus incubator" on the other. See, that's being spiteful too. Okay, no point in being a jerk there. The guy almost ran you over. Okay, you could be upset. Okay, you may want to drop the gloves, do whatever. But that's just retaliatory for no reason. Yeah. Our church will never close. You get that? The man yelled. Well, this one's going on. This is a tit-for-tat thing here. Anyways, here's a cool story. If you've ever been to Provincetown, Massachusetts, I have once. Fantastic, beautiful place, by the way. Absolutely gorgeous. I would vacation there in a second. Don't go in the water, though. Great whites everywhere. They got the signs up. Yeah, that scared me. Yeah. Anyways, researchers have identified the first baby North Atlantic right whales to arrive in Cape Cod Bay for the spring. The right whales are among the most endangered marine animals on the planet, and they number only about 400. Recent years of high mortality and poor reproduction have put the species in jeopardy. The Center for Coastal Studies said in a recent document 2 mother calf pairs in the bay, bringing the total of calves seen this spring to 3. The center said only 10 right whale calves were known to be born this season. One was struck by a vessel shortly after birth and hasn't been seen since January. The whales journey from calving grounds off of Florida and Georgia to Cape Cod Bay every year. The center's right whale ecology program director, Charles Stormy Mayo, said it's always a relief to see the mothers and their offspring arrived unscathed. Perfect. Let's get those numbers back up. I love whales. Whales are just gorgeous. Just gorgeous creatures. An Ohio brewery is inviting beverage fans of all ages to participate in a record attempt for the world's largest virtual toast. Really? This is what it's come down to, people. This is what it's come down to. We're virtual toasting now. We need to get lives here once this is over. The Jolly Scholar in Cleveland said people can participate from their own homes during the lockdown by going to the brewery's Facebook page at 7 p.m. Eastern on March 1st. The brewery is planning to go live with a video starring Les the Beer Guy Flake, a popular beer vendor at Cleveland Indians games, and Flake will lead the toast after an introduction. Jolly Scholar owner Matt Van said people of all ages are invited to participate. People can be involved with bottled water, juice, whatever, Van says. Participants are encouraged to film themselves during the toast so the evidence can be submitted to the website recordsetter.com, which will then issue certificates to the participants. Moving forward, doesn't that just seem like a waste of time? Right? I don't know. Not getting that one. Here's another guy, obviously a little lonely in his life. A Russian runner who spent 9 months training for a now-canceled race tested his endurance in his home by running laps around his bed for a total distance of 62 miles. Come on, Dimitri. You telling me you had nothing better to do in that bedroom than to run around your bed for 62 miles? Can you imagine what his carpet looks like now? Or his wood floors? Dmitry Yakuny of the Primorye region said he had been training for 9 months to compete in a 155-mile race through the desert in Morocco, but the event was postponed due to the pandemic. Yakuny said he had decided to keep his skills sharp while in COVID-19 lockdown and ran laps around his bed for a total of 62 miles, tracking his progress with a fitness bracelet. Yakuny, who gave hourly updates via Instagram live videos, said the run took 10 hours and 19 minutes. Think about that. 10 hours, 19 minutes. And looking at the bed, okay, it looks like a regular double bed. It doesn't even look like a queen size. I don't know. Dimitri, we got to find you a girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever you're into. We need to find you a partner. Definitely need to find you a partner. Officials in a California city buried a popular skate park in sand to deter skateboarders from violating coronavirus lockdown orders. But guess what? The sand-covered park ended up attracting a new crowd. Those dirty dirt bikers. Connor Erickson posted a video on YouTube showing how he and some of his friends visited Ralph's skate park in San Clemente to ride their dirt bikes across the 37 tons of sand dumped onto the park by city officials to prevent gatherings. The video shows Erickson and his friends helping a group of skateboarders clear away some sand to use the park for its originally intended purpose. I think it's a big joke. These kids are cooped up inside their house and just want to go out and have some fun, Erickson said. Obviously, he's not worried about getting the old virus there. And finally, a jellyfish was filmed gliding in a Venetian canal after the city's emblematic waterways became their clearest in living memory because of the coronavirus lockdown. Zoologist Andrea Mangoni filmed the creature swimming in exceptionally calm waters near the city's Baratieri Bridge last week. The barrel jellyfish was visible through the water of the canals, which are usually murky, but now clear enough to see schools of fish. With boats and gondolas coming to a standstill because of Italy's nationwide shutdown, the dirty sediment in the canals has been able to settle at the bottom without being churned about, making the surface clearer, it is believed. Yeah, this is kind of cool. Anyways, white swans have also been roaming the canals in a city where the usually overloaded piazzas and alleyways have become almost deserted, while air pollution has declined across northern Italy. The city is usually one of the world's most popular tourist destinations, attracting more than 1 million visitors from China alone last year. But the Venice tourist industry has already suffered a blow last year when apocalyptic floods ravaged the lagoon city. A spokesperson for Venice's mayor's office said the water now looks clear because there is less traffic on the canals, allowing everything to get back to normal. It's because there is less boat traffic that usually brings in sediment to the top of the water surface. The air, however, is less polluted since there are less vaporetti and boat traffic than usual because of the restricted movements. One Venetian local, Marco Copavia, said he had never seen the water so clear after filming some of the fish under the surface. Thought of the Day happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air because we love the audience participation around here. Thank you, Marty, on Twitter for the lovely clown tonight. Today's Thought of the Day, oh, that's scary. Purple hair, too. And more than a mouthful of teeth. In a paragraph, what's your most haunted story? Marty, every once in a while, a favorite dog of mine named Buster, who passed away several years ago, makes an appearance in the house. You can only see him as a shadow, but we know it's him because he had a distinctive backwards curling tail. That's actually really cool, Marty. Really, really cool. Classy and sassy. I don't understand this one, but they call it the Dave. When a pandemic COVID outbreak ceased the life out of the U.S., nowhere to go, nowhere to run or hide, it's coming for us. Spaced Out Radio. Okay. Lori, my dad visited our new apartment 8 weeks after he died. That's kind of cool. Freaky, but cool. My mother, a saint, rational, and logical woman, sane, not saint, a sane, rational, and logical woman, telling me about a little girl in a red coat who sat on the end of her bed and spoke with her after she had beckoned the girl to come closer. A little Red Riding Hood there. All right. Moving on. Darren. Oh, that's the wrong one. Hold on. That is the wrong one. That was yesterday's. There it is. Kimberly, finding myself semi-conscious, standing on a dirt road behind a group of 15 people 20 yards away, and watching two metallic saucer-shaped UFOs come around a hill, and the first one stopping next to me and the other one coming to a stop next to the group ahead of me. A ramp lowered for the second one, and the people started filling into it. It's a longer story than this, but that was an OMG moment for me, realizing it wasn't a dream. Oh, I got to hear more about that one. Kimberly, we may have to talk. Gabe, I worked overnights at Walmart at the time. I used to get 7 a.m. breakfast with a coworker back then. I was interested in a property near me that said historical site. I am the curious type, and I love history. I decided to ask one of these elderly gentlemen that always ate breakfast there. He said, I don't know about the one house, but your house used to be a funeral home. I was horrified, and I didn't want to go home to sleep anymore. Well, that's kind of eerie. Nikki, try living my life every day. Oh, Nikki is a fantastic psychic medium. Fantastic psychic medium out of Washington State. Yeah, she's got some weird, eerie stories. You're a weird, eerie stories, Nikki. I know you're in the chat room listening right now. You're a weirdo, lady. A weirdo. But I love you. Lee gets a final word tonight. I was on top of the bunk, sensing something. I rolled over to see this black silhouette of a figure 12 inches away from my face. I could feel its breath. It was not my mom or dad. Age 7, 1976. Oh, that's creepy. You know, when it involves kids, it is creepy. I don't know why, but have you ever noticed that haunted stories, paranormal stories in general, are always freakier when a young kid tells them because they're short, they're abrupt, and you know that there is some truth to that too. Especially when the younger ones, they haven't figured out how to BS us yet, like teenagers have. Oh, darn teenagers. Nonetheless, thank you to everybody for participating in the Thought of the Day today. We will do it all again on Facebook and Twitter tomorrow. Big thank you to Captain Shirk for getting our SOR Newswire up to date. You can check that on out on our website, spacedoutradio.com, anytime you would like. Captain Shirk is up at all hours of the night, perusing the news of the world. And to Joni Mayhan and DeAnna Simpson for coming in talking about the Hanover Haunting. What a freaky story this was. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. A special thanks to everybody at home, listening in your cars, at work, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone participating in our chat rooms on YouTube, Spreaker, the SOR Space Travelers Club on our website, Revolution Radio, LGAB, Facebook, and of course the Snarkers and Snarkettes hanging out at hashtag Spaced Out Radio on Twitter. Please remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing us to spend your evening, because together, my friends, we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Have a great night, everybody. We get to do it all again tomorrow. I will be here. I hope you will be too. Come join the fun. It's very, very awesome on this side. Good night.